countryside of Texas. The sun beat down mercilessly, and the air was thick with heat and silence. A poor widow named Martha walked slowly along a gravel road. Her two young children, Emily, just 6, and little Jake, barely 4, clinging to her worn-out dress. They were returning from the town, having sold a small basket of eggs to buy some flour. Life hadn't been easy since her husband died in a farm accident 2 years ago. But Martha was strong, not because she had no fears, but because she had 2 little hearts depending on hers. As they turned a bend in the road, Emily gasped. "Mama, look!" She pointed toward a figure lying in the dirt, half hidden by tumbleweed. Martha rushed forward and found a man, unconscious, bleeding from his side, with deep cuts on his arms. He wore dusty cowboy boots, a torn flannel shirt, and a beaten-up hat. He looked like he had been robbed or left for dead. Without a second thought, Martha knelt beside him. He was still breathing, barely. "We can't leave him," she whispered. She tore a piece of cloth from her apron, pressed it to his wound, and with difficulty, she and her children dragged the man to their little cottage on the edge of a dry cornfield. For days, Martha cared for him. She used herbs and warm cloths to treat his wounds, fed him soup made from bones and old potatoes, and prayed by his bedside every night. The children would sit near him and tell him stories, hoping he could hear them. He didn't speak. He didn't open his eyes. But she didn't stop. "Why are we helping him, Mama?" Jake once asked. Martha smiled gently. "Because if we were hurt and alone, I'd want someone to help us too." Finally, on the 6th day, the man opened his eyes. They were pale blue, tired, but kind. "Where am I?" he whispered. "You're safe," Martha said, pouring him a cup of warm broth. "You've been here for a while. We found you on the road." He tried to sit up, but winced in pain. Martha steadied him. "Don't worry, you'll be all right." He nodded weakly. "Thank you for saving my life." He never gave his name, and Martha never asked. She was too busy helping him recover. After a few more days, he was well enough to walk. Then one morning, before sunrise, he was gone. He left behind only a note. "I will never forget what you did for me. Thank you, a friend." Weeks passed. Life went back to its quiet struggle, until one afternoon, a sound of tires crunching gravel broke the silence. Martha stepped outside and froze. 3 black cars pulled up in front of her home. Out stepped the same man, but now he was dressed in a fine suit, clean-shaven, with a warm smile. Behind him stood men in sunglasses. He walked up to her slowly. "Martha," he said gently, "I told you I'd never forget." She stared in disbelief. "I'm not just a cowboy. I own one of the largest cattle ranches in Texas. I was ambushed and left for dead that day, and you saved me without knowing who I was." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a deed to a beautiful home in the city, full financial support, and college scholarships for both children. Tears rolled down Martha's cheeks. The children stood speechless. "You showed kindness when you had nothing. Now let me give you everything I can." From that day on, Martha and her children lived a life they had never imagined, not because they asked for it, but because they gave from the heart when they had the least. Because kindness, when given freely, always finds its way back, multiplied.